Hello, everybody. I am the CEO of Arcade, and you are watching the best show in the world, Retro Buzz. Let's go.
Hey guys, it's Friday and it's time for the Retro Buzz. Anything and everything that can go wrong will go wrong. Well, at least today it has, and we always can depend on this. What are you doing this week? Glenn, what are you doing?
Oh, hey guys. Well, Arcade wanted to come out with their Warlord machine, and I figure, you know what? I'm going to try and 3D print one. And I have just finished, like 2 minutes before the show started, my 4-player Warlords and everything under the sun 3D printed tabletop.
Nice. What did that set you back?
The PLA cost me about $200 in PLA. I think everything all said and done, just about $300 and about 290 hours of print time. 290 hours of print time. But all 3D printed, solid, and since this is 3D printed, I can raise this up and lower it down, put it on your table. So I'm going to do a video on this next week or so, showing all the things you can kind of do with this. 3D printing is the way to go, man. Forget these companies, man. Just print your own. Just give yourself like 500 hours and like.
Just 500 hours.
Wow. Okay, I just had to do the quick math on that. That's 12 days of solid printing time. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Correct.
Come on, Glenn.
That is correct. It's because I only have one printer. If I had a whole slew of printers instead of these, machines, I could have cut it down maybe to one day with 12 printers. Think about that,
I'm seeing a lot of unused space in that kickplate area, Glenn. You could have your army of 3D printers inside those arcade one-up cabinets.
You know what? If I had a wife, she'd probably kill you right now, but that's a great idea.
It is a great idea.
And we also have with us Mr. Douglas Smith, who was the voice of reason, as you hear behind.
Sometimes I'm not, because I just
or the troublemaker.
On the road to assembling a 3D printing army. So we'll see.
And also we have a special guest.
Wait a second. So Doug's gonna make me spend my money now.
That's what he does best. That's what he does.
You take your 3D printer and you print yourself another 3D printer, and it just Russian nesting egg doll, and you're good to go.
Can't argue that.
No, again, the voice of reason. We also have a special guest with us this week. We have Mr. Wolfanoz, and I think your youtube.com/Wolfanoz. Am I correct?
Yeah, I think it might be like a /C or /gibberish/Wolfanoz or
okay.
Something.
Just type in Wolfanoz in YouTube, you'll find him.
I apologize for that ahead of time because I didn't know. I thought it was because I'm subscribed, so I just click on it when it pops up, so I don't remember what everybody's link is.
We're all subscribed.
Anyway,
you love me, Glenn. I know you love me, man. You can't deny it.
So we were kind of talking about what we wanted to talk about, and so before we get into that, Wolfanoz, why don't you tell everybody who may not know what you do? I heard you're the king of pinball. That's one thing, but there's some other things. Yes, I was really disappointed. Let's touch on that a little bit before we go any further. So I had to have Glenn pinch hit for me on Rexer's show because, okay, I had won the first round, and that's all I really cared about. I just wanted to beat the first round because I wanted to prove to everybody that P-dubs held me back. That's what I wanted to prove. I knew there was guys out there that had more knowledge than me, but I thought, okay.
Well, it's P-dubs, so.
Well, true, but I was like, okay, WrestleMania's on. I have some family coming over. We're going to be watching this. And I'm like, I really want to watch this. And I totally forgot when he asked because he was going to plan it on Easter. So I'm like, Glenn, are you going to be around? And Glenn's like, yeah, what's up? I said, I need you to go on Rexer's show.
I got no life.
So Glenn's like, yeah. So I'm like, okay, we actually have a chance to win this here because Glenn's good at the
Right.
trivia. Glenn gets knocked out the first round.
I had to throw it. I had
The
to
first
throw it.
round.
I had to throw it because it was supposed to be you. I was playing for you. I had to throw it. I couldn't
Glenn,
be me.
I sat there
I
watching a
won.
replay, and I'm sitting there going,
Yeah.
no, pick this. No, what are you doing? What are you doing? Or, we're sorry, Glenn. You're going to have to sit
No.
this one. Beep.
Well, I knew he'd get the Atari questions, but when they got to Sega, I know that's when he had a rough time.
Oh,
so.
yeah. I definitely choked there.
Glenn.
I couldn't win it because that would not be fair because it was you playing.
Listen.
And we all know that you may be better than P-Dubs. I'm better than you.
Well, I don't know about that now. I don't know about that now because some of those answers I would have gotten. And, hey, credit due. Wolfanoz would have still beat everybody. I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to deny that.
Those questions after, though, were hard, man.
I was watching. 100% they were hard. Not going to lie. So, kudos to you for
Thanks,
winning
man.
that. But as long as I beat P-Dubs. So, I see Rexer's in the chat. Rexer.
Oh, God.
Glenn blew it. I know it, but I still beat P-Dubs.
I told them I was going to throw in the game. They knew I was going to throw. I was throwing that game.
So what you're saying is you want an asterisk. You want a record book asterisk that says, Glenn unfairly represented the team.
Oh, no. I'll take the loss. Listen, I can take the loss. It was Glenn graciously taking my spot. I'm not going to call foul there at all.
Rexer told me he's going to Rexer told me he's going to retire the show after that too, and I'm like, dude, that's your stick, man. Stick with it. Keep making trivia shows. They're great. I
like the trivia shows. I like watching them, even if I'm not on them.
He can't.
Glenn, did you really do that bad that Rexer wants to cancel the show?
He really did do that bad.
I guess I broke the show, I guess.
He did. He did. It was great. He was fantastic. But, it's funny. When Steven goes, Glenn, could you be on Rexer's show tonight? I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. I didn't know it was like the contest. So it's like a regular show.
Wait. So, Rex, I didn't tell him that this was the finals because I moved on. I left that part out, right? I was just like, hey, can you go on the show with Rex? I messed up. I double scheduled. And Glenn's like, yeah, I'll go on. And he comes back like, I don't know if it was like the next day or it was an hour later. He's like, you didn't tell me that this was the finals thing.
Yeah.
Whoops.
I was like, I must have let that one out.
I'm gonna tell you the truth. The reason why Rexer said he was gonna stop doing the show is because Glenn said he was gonna do it nude. And that's exactly what.
Well, okay, in that case. Rexer, then you probably should stop.
Do anything, dude.
But honestly, Rex, look at the comments in the chat room here. They're like, we love the trivia. Keep it going. I would agree. Even if, I'm never on the show again, I will still watch it because I like the trivia. I think it's really cool. It really is.
It's well produced. He does a really good job with the questions, the trivia, everything. I mean, just the whole package, the presentation. He does an excellent job on it.
100%.
I would be extremely sad if he stopped because I love the Retro Show. I like him. I think he's put on a great show. And Rex, I know it's a lot of work. We all know it's a lot of work. Dude, we really like it.
Absolutely. And
Rex is the new Wink Martindale.
And I will say this. There's one guy that won't stop, and that's Glenn. He keeps filling that cup up. By the end of this show, it's going to be on like Donkey Kong.
At this point, I don't even know why you're bothering with the cup, Glenn. Just turn that bottle upside down.
Where's your paper bag, Glenn?
Yeah, right. Oh, my.
Glenn's got a paper bag somewhere.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
bags, not paper bags.
Rex, no, seriously, dude. You got to keep it going. So, anyways, my apologies for Rex for, again, not having my calendar together. That was my fault. But I at least had you a replacement. He was at least entertaining. I could have got you P-dubs. I'm just saying. I could have got you P-dubs.
We still love P-dubs, though.
No, I know.
He's like the kid you don't talk about.
Well, speaking of kids we want to talk about, let's talk about what you do, okay? Besides being the champion at Rexer's Trivia and being awesome at pinball, what are some of the other things that you do for those that don't know about the Raspberry Pi and stuff?
So my original background, believe it or not, was meteorology. That's what I went to school for. So I basically, my background is meteorology. And then when I had a family, I figured out, well, doing meteorology for what I do in meteorology didn't pay the bills. So I flipped over to doing IT. So I did that for about 20 years. And I've been doing that for about 22 years overall. But basically, I figured one day, you know, since I had Linux knowledge and most of the Pi is Linux, obviously, I could use that knowledge to improve things. So basically, I went in and originally I got my start because I was a follower of Mad Little Pixel at the time. Still am. Great guy. And basically, he was like, I went to him and I said, do you mind if I take your image and kind of just look through it and blah, blah, blah? And he's like, yeah, man, go for it. So I did that and kind of just did a remix on his images and just fixed the controls and everything else. And eventually it got to the point where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go this on my own and do this myself. And literally my first image was like the 32 gigabyte arcade image that everybody seems to love. So that literally took me like 6 months because I literally went through combed through 2,000 games. Just like I'd set a goal and say do 50 to 100 games a day.
Wow.
So basically I did, yeah. So basically I go through the games, comb through them, make sure they work right, feel like I could walk up similar to an arcade, play it, and it would play in your hands or, you know, whatever controller you were using. So, or if you're using a barcade, which I have. So I know I just said the magic word. Yeah, exactly.
Take a drink.
So let's talk about this for a second, because there's a lot of red herrings, if you will, in this community about piracy and images and sauce images, and I mean, we're going to be talking about the unthinkable here today, guys. So, but what I want to stress this: we're not condoning piracy, but we want you to think about something that we're going to be talking about today. And so, earlier this week, there was a little incident that happened where a sauce got leaked out, and Arcade Punks actually came out and stated that they were going to remove this from their website because they were newer games. Now, I guess where I have the problem with this, and I get it, they're putting out, and I get it, there's a lot of people that pirate. And I get it, these companies, especially in this time, they need the money. Like, they can't be, you know, having, you know, their stuff stolen. But what about the guys that own these games? Like, we're all collectors of games. We go out and buy the hard copies, but we also have the ROMs that we can play to preserve those copies, to preserve this hobby, to preserve the gaming industry, or even, you know, where we have these arcades and these Wi-Fi enabled pinball and arcade tables that we can add our own ROMs to it. Should we really have to pay for 20 versions of this, even though Nintendo would love us to do that? And kind of, we end up
how
doing
many times have we all bought Mario or Mario 3 or any of them? I mean, any of the old ones. I mean, on many consoles, you know? I mean, all the time. That's the one thing I mean, we already own a hard copy of this game. Most of us do. But, I mean, the fact that, you know, they're making us continually buy these games is just, it gets old after a while. I mean, I know it's a new console that they have us buy it on, but at least have, like, a digital license to where we can, like, reobtain it and not have to buy it again. You know, that's kind of, you know, I could see, like, for instance, PinFX is going to a new platform, and they're basically saying that they're going to discount all the people that have bought, basically, you know, some of the old packs, but they're not going to discount everything. You're going to have to rebuy all that.
Yep.
But, and I get that. I really do. But the fact is, like, for older games that are like 15, 20, 25 plus years old, I just personally can't keep buying these games all the time. You know?
Well, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today, because I know, Glenn, we joke with you a lot about having 3 or 4 or even 5 copies of things. But I mean, let's face it, this has got to get old for you, buying that many copies, or even adding them to this game, to this thing, to this. Do you feel like you should have to do that?
Well, yeah. I mean, I have multiple copies. It's true, and actually, I'm gonna start sub-licensing some of them. So I have forfeit copies if you guys want to buy any of them, per se. But I almost think, you know, it's a very hard thing because, you know, the companies made them. I mean, we always sometimes feel we're entitled.
Right.
And I spent so much money in Space Invaders in the arcade and Asteroids. I could have bought the machine as a kid. I put so much money into it. So you always feel an entitlement to it. But on the other side of the coin, the manufacturing, all the bills that they do, the employees they got to, you know, feed, type of thing. There's that part of it. I always would like to see companies, maybe like Atari or Nintendo or Sega, literally for, I don't know, $1, they sell the ROMs. They just sell the ROM.
Agreed.
It's your ROM.
Yeah,
it's
I'm
your
okay with that.
ROM. And then you buy a device or an emulator, and then you can load it and play it, and that's it. So the company makes out But the problem is, these companies don't do that, number one. And
Right.
number two, some of these games, the companies are just like, they're gone.
Well,
Like Cinematronics, they're
yeah.
gone. And
Exidy,
in some
gone.
of these machines, gone. And even in some of these companies, there is no ROM. The games that I like, being the old timer here, some of them were discrete logic, like Pong, Breakout. There was no ROM
Yeah.
in those.
Well,
So that's another thing to consider.
Well, and Doug, you know, I'm not going to ask you what right or wrong, what you should do. I don't want anybody to answer that. But what I do want to ask you, you made a good comment in the pre-show, which nobody really heard, was some of these games you have to track clear across the country to try to find them.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the positive about ROMs and emulation and things like that is the historical preservation of the games themselves. A lot of these games you would never have the opportunity to actually experience again, and if it wasn't for emulation and ROMs and things like that, they would just disappear and die. They would go the way of the dinosaurs and be extinct because there's no other physical manifestations of those games available, or whether it be arcade cabinets or NES cartridges or things like that. And there's also the other side of the coin where some of these games are so rare and so hard to come by that they fetch astronomical prices, which is not indicative of actually playing the games. Like, if you want to play Little Samson, you got to, fetch over $1,700. Right. Like, I'm sorry, that's not logistical to ask anybody. I don't care who you are.
Right.
To pay $1,700 to play a video game.
And quite frankly, that's how I look at it, is like, I'm making a museum. When I do that, I'm making a museum, and I don't just take like a week to do it. I'll take months to do it, and it's a lot of work. And I don't know, I can't speak for all image creators out there, but that's how I look at it. I look at it as something I can sit down and go through like I'm walking through a museum, saying, "Oh, I remember that game. I'm going to play it." Or just sitting through watching the screensaver go by with all the games and the names. I mean, I know people that tell me they just turn their pie on just to watch that all day long because they just want to see, what games they don't they haven't played in ages.
Well, I left this comment up for you, Wolf, on here. It says, Wolf, you always have the best images. Everything always just worked.
I appreciate it, Gary. Thank you. Yeah.
Which is saying a lot.
I take pride in it. I mean, it's almost like going to your job, except on your free time. I mean, you're doing all this in your free time. Most people are. And, I'm not anywhere perfect with it, but I try to get as close as I can to it.
Well, and Brad makes an interesting comment here. He says, when people attack the emulation community, everyone loses. And I don't think anybody here in this tight-knit group, the 100 people that watch us here on these shows, whatever, we're the core. We're the guys that would be like Glenn said, hey, if you're Sega, you're Nintendo, hey, you want to have these licensed, we don't mind. We would pay $100 for all these games licensed in a sauce, if you call it that.
I have.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. To throw it on our pinball or our ATGames or whatever, our modded arcade 1-up. We're the minority in this thing, I really believe. But there are people out there that take advantage of this, and they are pirating with no intentions of buying these games because they're like, well, why would I spend, I just spent $150 for Mario Kart Nintendo 64.
Like, I'll tell the community straight up, too, if you see people selling this stuff, report it.
Yep.
Report eBay, Etsy, you name it, because it's going to destroy the community if you don't. And, what we're doing is, we're working with materials that are questionable, but, if we don't have it saved or preserved and playable, it's not going to be around anymore.
It's going to
disappear.
People
are going to be like, what's Berserk? What game's that?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Prime example of that was it a week or two ago of virtualpinball.com or vpinball.com shutting down and closing its doors.
Yeah.
Because of the community or people in the community, taking advantage and selling the work of others, the preservation of others, and, profiting off the community's just efforts to try to, preserve games and, make these as playable to as many people as possible. But there's people that were loading them up, selling them, throwing them in their own cabinets, and making $2,000 in profit for something they didn't do.
In a sense, it's kind of like the war on drugs. It's like the war on drugs, with the exception of Glenn drinking. But
but what he's saying there, just think about this for 1 second. Look at the Sega Dreamcast and Sega as a whole. They had left the hardware business because the Dreamcast, not that the sales of the machine didn't do well, but the software sales, that's what make the money. And they thought they locked down that the gig drive when in actuality
No,
they
no.
cracked it,
Yeah.
and people were
No.
pirating the crap out of that.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
honestly, that's what took down Sega, and that's what killed that Dreamcast. So again,
Yeah.
you know,
Nah, Sega
I
took
own-
down Sega. Let's be
Yeah,
real.
Sega took
Yeah.
down
they
Sega.
did,
Atari
Yeah.
took
they
down
did, but
Atari,
that was
too.
not help.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well-
it wasn't a help.
Well, I mean, just like us, right? We've been collecting. I know Doug, Glenn, we all collect. Like, if I spend, like I was just saying about Mario Kart, spending $150, my kids want to play this, right? I don't want them destroying the box, pulling the game in and out. I don't want that messed with. It goes on the shelf. I pay $150. It sits on the shelf. I don't touch it. Same way with Sega CD, Sega Saturn games, Dreamcast games. I make copies of them. I'll admit it. Why? Because I don't want the disc getting scratched or damaged or anything. I still own it.
Yeah.
And
Well,
you'll-
eventually
and
you're
you
going to
have to
have
worry-
disc rot anyway. So without the ability to copy those games,
Yep.
you would lose it completely.
And
I was just saying that.
and that's why you have to keep it in you don't want to store it in your attic. You don't want to store it in a cold. You want to keep it in a normal temperature, which is why I have it where I have it. It's climate controlled, so I don't get disc rot, right? So, but there's a lot of people out there. They'll just store them away in their grandmother's attic, and then they bring it out in
Yeah.
20 years, and it's. I mean, these
There's
are
pits in
dying.
the CD.
All right, they're dead. They're gone.
No.
You're never to be seen. Or nobody's ever going to play them again. So
That's happened to me. I had an old box with PC game demo discs in it that I just opened recently because it's moths flew out and all that jazz you see in cartoons. And I looked at the discs and they had pits in them. I mean, because they've just been sitting there forever.
How many of you guys, in chat room included, how many of you guys, honestly, you played a ROM and you went out and bought it because you enjoyed that game so much that you had to go out and buy the game? There's a lot of games that I've done
Show of
that
hands,
with.
yeah.
I mean,
everybody.
Just be honest. I mean,
That's how it works. I mean, it generates and keeps the interest of that type of thing alive. Like there's so many people that I know, bought an arcade one-up cabinet, modded the crap out of it, and then said, you know what? I like this. I'm going to go try to track down a real arcade cabinet. Like it didn't kill arcade industry. It only helped, progress and keep it alive and keep that interest, thriving because it generates more and more, attention and buzz around those games.
And I'll be honest with you, I used to be, before when Pinball Arcade? Yeah. Pinball Arcade got big, and it re-piqued my interest in pinball. And I think that's where this whole thing with virtual pinball started too, is with that. And shortly after getting really involved with that, I ended up getting a real Terminator 2 machine. So, and this is before everything took off. So, and now you can get a Terminator 2 for like $3,500. Back then I got it for like $2,000. So, I mean, this is the popularity of things. Everything retro is getting big again, which is, I'm glad to see. But I mean, in other
Especially
sense,
Glenn's retro show right there. Those were I appreciate that.
but I mean, how many of us we went out, we bought all these arcade one-ups. Those of us that have them, right? Mortal Kombat, Mortal Kombat 2, right? We all, to be honest, we all have those ROMs that we could play on our ATGames. We could play on a Pi, but we still bought the licensed copy because we wanted to support the developer, but we also wanted to support the having authentic looking 3/4 scale cabinets. I mean, that's the reality.
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
So I do see it from both sides. I really do. And in fact, I know with software, Wolf, you talked about it. You're in IT, and I work in software/hardware. You can get group licenses. Like I don't understand why they don't do something like that, where they do all these special editions of things that sometimes people don't want any of the garbage that comes with it. Right. But instead of $49.99 for one game for a PS5, why not do like an $89.99 where you can play it on your PS5, your Switch, your Xbox Series X?
Packs, just do it in packs or something where you spend like $10, like say for like 20 old games or something, and it's continually like put out packs, kind of like what Pinball Arcade and PinFX3 is doing. It's the same kind of method. I don't know why they can't do something like that, because it would keep it alive, number one. Number two, it would, get rid of that gray area for most people where they don't feel comfortable downloading a image and imaging it themselves. You know what I mean? So I just don't, what are they afraid of making money? They need to really, they need to dig up the past a little bit because it's dying. And if they don't do something, you're not going to have all these old games that, we all grew up with, You know,
And some of us,
if they squash the community that's supporting it now, that's when it is going to go away. Because people are going to be turned away. They're not going to be bothered with all the hassles, and these machines will die.
but some of us didn't grow up with some of the games that Glenn's grown up with. I mean, when you hit Dinosaur Age,
the hoop and stick thing where you just push the wheel down the sidewalk with the stick. Yeah.
So for Glenn to say, hey, you really need to try this game. Like, okay, good example. You guys remember when Daniel used to be on the show? Daniel got really good at Centipede. Daniel would have had no idea what Centipede was if Glenn wasn't talking about it on the show and said, hey, this is that game Glenn was talking about. Now I'm going to try to beat Glenn's score. I'm going to try to go in here and, Glenn talks. But, that's what, Glenn, 50 years old, the game?
Centipede was 1980.
Okay. So
my daughter,
almost
she's
40
14 and
years.
she loves all these. It's just, if you show them the past, they're willing to, like, compete with you at it. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, I'm going to try to beat you at it, beat your ass. And, my daughter all the time.
So we got a comment here from Elmo Watches Wrestling. He said, trust me, for new developers, obscurity is a far greater threat than piracy. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Because like I told you guys,
some of these developers that go after streamers for streaming their game, and there was a couple of companies in the news in the last year that were trying to charge streamers for streaming the game they purchased because they said, oh, well, people are going to watch you play the game. They're not going to buy our game. It's like, no, idiot. We're creating a buzz and interest for your game. Why should we have to pay a separate fee on top of the game just to play it online and show people about your game?
Because quite frankly, it sounds wrong, but it's a gateway drug to bigger things. Like if you play all these old games, you're more than likely going to buy an arcade one-up. You're going to buy a real arcade game. I owned a real Star Wars at one point. And, that thing was insane. That was like 350 pounds. And
so it's Kathleen Kennedy.
Pretty much.
So before we go any further, Angel was pinging me. He's like, dude, I got to get on this. I gotta state something here. So
he's a great dude.
I brought Angel up. Angel's right here. What's going on, buddy?
What's up,
what's up, guys?
What's going on, man?
Hey, how you doing, guys?
How you doing, Angel?
Listen, I'll make it quick. I'll make it quick. Wolfanoz, I love you. Thank you for everything you do for the community. And
likewise,
of course,
brother.
you guys, I love you guys the best. I just want to make one quick comment. I've touched on this so many times in the past that I lost all my retro stuff in Sandy and New York. And if it wasn't for this community, and if it wasn't for, being able to get these ROMs and getting all this stuff back, I would have probably never fell back in love with video games. Now, I just recently sold my modified Wii Switch, not because I didn't like the fact, that it was fully loaded with ROMs and stuff like that, but because I kind of miss going to the store and buying games and having tangible product. But I still, enjoy the comfort of being on the couch and not having to get up on the wheelchair every 5 minutes to have to change a game out or have to switch a game out or have to, change. But I still go to the store. I love that feeling. I love being able to opening up something brand new and sealed. It's like Christmas every time. So I don't think that having ROMs and having, duplicates or something, if you own it, yes, it's good to have a copy of it. But I don't think, it's really a great area when you just respect the community and purchase what you really want. If you love it, buy it. If you desire it, go into the store, put your hard ass money on it, your cash on it, and just get it. I mean, that's the best way to say it.
He brings up a really good point, Angel. There's flash carts, and I have flash carts, and I don't deny it. But there's still something special when you have the original ET cart.
Exactly.
And you put that original ET cart in your Atari 2600. And there's something different about it. It's the exact same game. Plays the same, but there's nothing like the feeling of that original media going in there, your console or whatever. It's a very different feeling.
Yeah, you can't really relive your childhood if you're not doing the same steps you did when you were younger.
Well,
you have to be able to
put
the
other
that cartridge in, play that game, just back in the days.
This is one of my new purchases. You guys all remember this series.
Excuse me, princess.
Right? Okay. I'm sure every one of us has at least some of these episodes downloaded somewhere that you've saw it on, because they're on YouTube. I mean, I'm just going to throw it out there. But again, going back to what Angel said, there's something about getting the physical, tangible copy that you have And
Yep.
this is my second copy because my daughter stole my other copy because she likes The Legend of Zelda. So I actually bought this twice. Because again, as you know, you're collecting, you're getting this. So Angel, you're 100% spot on.
I just bought a $50 pristine copy of Missile Command for the 2600 because it's like my favorite game.
There you go.
So I mean,
And
I'm not gonna.
I messaged Steve like earlier this week, and I told him, look, Walmart still has these, and I went and picked it up for him. Like it's going to him. I mean, we do support the community, and we do support the developers because we still want to feel this in our hand. It's not all about just downloading and playing it off the SD card. Yeah, that's comfortable, but we still want to be at this and show this to the kids, because later on in the future they're gonna look at us like, what are we, stupid? What's an SD card? What's a floppy card? Now they won't.
Yeah, spot on, man.
Even know that.
Well, I mean, Wolf, you were saying earlier that you're looking at, we can't see it, but you're looking at a shelf full of games. I mean, there's something to be said, and there's the memories behind that.
I have all the numbskulls, all the new wave toys right in front of me with Transformers in front of them. So
nice.
Not those kind, Glenn. Not those kind.
But I mean, Doug, you do the same thing. I mean, with toys. I mean, you don't keep them in the boxes, a lot of them, but you collect them. You could just go to a yard sale and buy, used, but you want the original. You want to have that experience of opening up the toys.
Like Angel said, it's that Christmas morning type of experience. If possible, getting the package and everything, that where you can open it and enjoy it and relive that kind of special time in your life. And then back to, talking about preservation. I mean, some of these games, there's no way to get it other than emulation. So that I can think of, 20 different arcade games that never got console ports, that unless you trek all over the country looking for an arcade machine that's still operational, I mean, there's no way you're going to be able to play that game and enjoy it. So you're left to the only option realistically is, emulation, something like that.
I mean, there's consoles you can buy now that.
Go ahead.
Go. Basically, there's consoles now you can buy that will rip the ROM. So if you find a rare game, and you find it just sitting in a flea market somewhere, you can rip that ROM and save it. I mean, because that cartridge is going to deteriorate and die at some point. So
I was going to say, real quick, is an example. This is an extreme example, and again, probably no one like me would care other than me. But I want you to think about computer space. That computer space was created on a PD-1 mini computer. Back in the day, it was worth $300,000. But where are you going to find one of those machines to play at your house? It took up the size of your house. But,
that's true.
That's still a piece of our history, and a piece of history that should be preserved. And you're not going to get that outside of emulation or a museum that has one of these machines running. But how they're going to play that game on it?
Well, and Glenn, there's a guy, I think he's your long-lost brother that's in the chat room. Elmo watches wrestling. He says, some of us own 2 copies of each game.
In a bag.
Well, he didn't say in a bag yet, so let's give him let us give him a few minutes. He might put that in the chat room, that he puts them in a bag.
And I actually have another conundrum, and I have both Doug and Steve to blame on this one. I really, really do. So I can't always buy 5 or something. I just can't, either because it costs too much or you can't get them. So normally I buy, my show is more about computer stuff right now and video games, but it is more. So I actually went out and bought this right here, one of my favorite movies.
Yes.
Black Hole.
Great movie, man.
Now, here's my dilemma. It is. It's a really good movie, but here's my dilemma. I don't know if I can take. I want to. I don't know if I can take it out of the box.
100%. You're going to take that out of the box, Glenn.
I don't think I can.
Take it out of the box. Let me solve and solve your problem for you. Open the freaking box. and then
I can't, Doug.
Recycle the box when you're done.
It's in the box. I don't know if I can do it.
No.
Coin Worker has a point, by the way. He says that Nintendo doesn't make money when I buy an old card of Mega Man at the pawn shop. They fought you running game. They fought the people. I mean, any retailer selling or renting games back in the day.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
they didn't like. Yeah, but now think about this. Think about this. What did Xbox try and do? What did they try and do? You remember?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They were gonna block all used games. Not you purchased it still, but it was
that
a
worked
used
for about
game.
24 hours, and then the world
Yeah.
came after them. Yeah. That was
Wait,
was fun.
Lewis Chambers wants to see what's in the box again. He didn't see it, so I'll cut back to you, Glenn, so you can show it.
So we have.
What's in the
Only
box?
way you're gonna see it.
There you go.
We have
Let me. Yeah, Lewis typed that. That's a typo. What he meant to say is, why is it in the box?
Why isn't it in the bag?
Take it out of the box. Put it in the bag. Solves
It
both
literally
problems.
just came. I have a bag for it. It literally, I got a bag right over here, as a matter of fact. Right there. See, you always keep bags.
Oh. Glenn broke the machine. Hang on a second, guys. I don't know if he accidentally bumped something that caused it, but the whole system went down. So hang on a second. We'll get everybody back up here in just a few seconds. If you guys are listening, hang on a second. Now you get to see real video production in action here, guys. We're going to get all the guys back up in just a few short moments here. Glenn should be back.
Oh, what happened? I got my bag and I vanished.
Yeah, you showed the bag and you dropped. Let me get Doug and Wolf back. So you can continue showing the bag while I get those guys back.
I don't know if it fits.
That was a riot. That's video production as it's happening in real life.
Wow. I came back at the perfect time to see Glenn putting a bag over a box.
That was weird. He went up and it just, I don't know if it just crashed it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what happened to Angel. But Angel, if you're there, you can call back in. If not, I understand.
There we go.
All's
right with the world.
He put it back in the bag. That's all right. We get everybody back quick. It's easy peasy. It keeps you guys, as long as you don't hang up. Glenn's voice reminds me of heavy metal cartoon character.
Which one? Den? Am I Den? John Candy?
Yeah.
No, it was that. What's that one Transformer that spoke in gibberish in the movie? Yeah.
From Junk?
That's
from Junk?
That's Glenn.
Yep. Pretty much. Yeah.
So,
but no, that, I mean, like we were talking before, things hit the fan or whatever. That is a good point. Is, you know, the third party retailers and things like that. You know, your developers stopped making money on these games a long time ago. The people that actually made these games, that, you know, spent hours in front of a desk and a computer screen, you know, coding and all these. Those people that did all the hard work on these games, a lot of times they are not making a dime off of this anymore. It's somebody in an ivory tower that made a, you know, blanket deal to buy the licensing rights to all these games. They're the ones profiting off of this, and sometimes even they are not making any money, just because, like we said, you sell a game, you sell a system, whatever, it trades hands. That person's no longer making any money. If I sell all my Arcade 1-Up machines, Arcade 1-Up's not going to make any money. They got the initial sale, but after that, you know, how many times that changes hands?
Yeah.
Nobody else makes any money except for the government.
But even
taxes.
Right. But even okay, so Retromania is coming out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we've all been talking. I've got 2 copies already bought.
Yep.
I've got the Steam copy. I've got the Switch copy. I'm sure you guys have it when PlayStation's comes out. And yeah, we may be biased because we've got some cameos in it. But the point is, we're trying to support the indie developer so he can create more things for the game, right? That's the whole.
Or even more games, you know.
Yeah, I mean, so I think that's why I said
They need a YouTube wrestling game. I need a YouTube wrestling game. I want to see P-Dub's eyes as big as I saw that on his character when he gets like body slammed by Nostalgia. I want to see that.
I don't know.
You might get a memory error with everybody on screen at the same time if it was a Royal Rumble, though.
Yeah.
But I think all of us, we do support that. We support the indie developers and again, we're talking to the choir here, right? Because the majority of guys that are watching this show are guys that are trying to preserve this. That's why they watch this show. That's why they look to you guys for advice on this stuff. So I don't know, man. Like, even the boxes, like, I didn't originally, you know, collect the boxes. It was just like, oh, I'll just get the system when I first started getting it. But now, since last year, I started collecting all the boxes. So I have majority of original boxes for these systems.
And you get them cheap. You stink. You stink.
I get them cheap, yeah.
If everyone out there knew how cheap you got them for, there'd be a riot at your house. I'm telling you right now.
Mm-hmm. And Deputy Van Halen also has a good point. He's got a comment that says, tell the Ivory Tower guys to release a Donkey Kong home arcade, because that's the thing. Some of these, licensors and developers, they're holding on to these IPs like with an ironclad grasp. And even us, the paying, willing consumers, can't get these games any other way through other than emulation, because they flat out won't release them in certain mediums.
And that's what I said is, you get an arcade 1-up that gets that license, that Nintendo license. It's they're going to probably tack another $100 on, but to me, if you love that game and you're willing to get it, you'll get it. I mean,
right.
Well,
it's such a class.
And here's the thing, not to put it out there for somebody to go and do it, but look at iArcade, right? It's been out for, what we say, like 6 months. Would that be safe to say? 6 months?
Yeah.
You haven't had one person try to hack it and create ROMs for it yet that we know of, that have come out. Now maybe they put their own pie in it and took out Zhang's guts, but my point is, a lot of these guys are supporting the creation and the licensing behind that. And why are you sitting there with a smirk on your face?
Because more than likely, like I'd mentioned before, the person you'd least expect has probably modded their arcade.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure there's few. Like, I know there's a guy.
I'm sure they tested that too. It's like, can we put a pie in there and see if it works? And I'm sure they've done that. No,
other guys put wrestling rings in it and LED lights and changes out the controls. And
I changed everything but the brains because I don't want to, lose the ability to buy the games. I'm A-OK going on to the web store and buying these games.
Right.
And like we've talked about earlier, I've already owned several of these games in other platforms and mediums, and I'm happy to continue to support these developers. But yes, it does get old buying the same games over and over again. Well, and that's where we do wish there was some sort of golden ticket type of thing to where we could just pay that flat fee and stop having to buy the same game 5 different times.
But you guys agree?
The one leap that the iArcade has, though, is in the the ATGames and those two, and then maybe a few arcade 1-up, is some of them have live scoreboards, and that's one thing Pi doesn't have. You're basically just playing, like you're walking up to an arcade cabinet, and your local, 5 and dime. That's basically it.
Well, do you think though that iArcade, because they're having you pay, and some of the guys in the chat room are saying like that would be a downgrade, wouldn't you like them to continue going the direction that they were using the newer games, like they're getting the newer titles and even because we have so many of the other arcades that have the older titles, like Doug says, I don't want to buy it 20 times.
No one likes the new. Come on, no one wants the new. You want the old classics.
Hey, if I remember a couple weeks ago, maybe about a month ago, you were hammering for some Dragon's Lair, if I do recall.
Yeah, and I own like 50 copies of Dragon's Lair.
So I'm just saying.
I have it on everything.
I'm just saying. So.
And Dragon's Lair is a classic. Dragon's Lair is an older game, 1982. So I rest my case.
It's an older game, but it looks newer.
Looks like it's from the future.
Just saying. That's probably why it didn't do well in the arcade then.
Crazy.
Yeah.
The pricing structure was from the future, that's for sure. But I mean, that's the thing. Like we just honestly we love to support these things. Obviously, there's going to be people that are on both sides of the line. Some people are they think the world owes them everything for free. They don't think they should have to pay or support, and they just want that instant gratification. See it all the time. People are like, well, I don't even want to do the work of downloading an image. I just want somebody to give me something that I plug in and I start playing. Like,
yep.
I get that and understand that instant gratification, but it's that type of mentality that is kind of toxic to the community as a whole, just because if you're not willing to even spend a few minutes of your time to like maybe say thank you on a message board to somebody that created a VPX table for you, or just, show anybody the time and decency of respect that somebody else put a lot of time, effort, and hard work into something, just because you want that instant gratification, you're too lazy to, put some work into it. I mean, that's the stuff that really starts hurting the community.
Well, let's shift gears here before we get to wrap up in 15 minutes. Dylan J, I put it on the lower third there. He's still upset about the high-low thing, and I think that's worth being upset about, because we all had a chance to review that Neo Geo, and and I left it in the hands of some of my friends that come over to game night, and they stated what I kind of saw already, that it was the majority of fighting games and Metal Slug.
Mhm. Yeah.
And how are you going to market that to a consumer if they're not in the fighting games? How are you going to get them to buy that?
Yeah, I mean, it became very niche because it's like,
Yeah.
Number one, you got to be a big Neo Geo fan, so
Correct.
you got to have that going
Mhm.
for you. Number two, you got to be a big fan of fighting games because it had like 65% King of Fighters and other fighting games. So you've already got like a narrow playing field before you even get started out of the gate with that. So if you're not already checking those two boxes, you're already like scratching your head going, why do I play this system? What can it offer me that something else can't? In come the high-low stick.
Well, and that's something that a lot of the guys, they wanted because they had the additional games. But even something like that, okay, so
Glenn's 3D printing his own right now, I think.
yeah, he might be.
Yeah, I have to. Yeah.
But if they're
Yep.
getting Unico, if they were getting the licenses for Neo Geo for their cabinet, why couldn't they, say, hey, for an extra $150, we can get the rest of the games for your Neo Geo cabinet. You plug it in the back, rock and roll. Everybody's happy. Our community's happy. The people out there, the consumers are happy. Us guys are happy, and you get everything. Why didn't
What
they
would
do
have been
that?
cool is that the Neo Geo in the arcade actually accepted a memory stick. It was part of the Neo Geo. You could take it from out of your Neo Geo in the arcade, go home and plug it in there and back to have packs on them, and you just plug it into your machine. That would have been a little forward thinking, but that's why they, should hire me as a consultant or whatever.
You're not supposed to personally interface with that port, though, Glenn. I forgot to tell you.
I whore out with everyone, Wolfanoz. I do with everyone.
Andrew, what are you thinking, man? He's there with his. He's got his work thing going.
It's like a double-edged sword. Has anybody even asked the question of what about the companies that know that these things can be modified and are making, like, I'll give you a perfect example. The original Xbox was one of the biggest emulating machine when it first.
Yeah, still is.
Still is, right?
Yeah.
But you remember once everybody started to figure out how to do it, how sales rocketed because of that. I mean, Xbox knew, and they took all the information that they got from all the guys that modified it, and they threw it into 360, and then they did the same thing with Xbox One. So it's like it trickles down, on and on and on. So these companies are not. Go ahead.
Yeah, here's my thing. Like, if it was such a problem, why are they allowing RetroArch on their systems now?
You go.
Seriously, it's a serious question. I mean, if it's that much of a problem, why are they allowing RetroArch on their systems?
True. I just hope that somebody takes a Pi, puts a fully loaded SD card, puts it in a time capsule, buries it, and let's dig it up a couple of years later and see, the history unfold all over again. Because that is, if we don't conserve it now, if we don't save it the way we're doing it now, it's gonna die. It's gonna be a dead thing, and that's sad. That's sad. Because nowadays, not even music, not media, nothing. Nowadays, it's not like it was back in the days, and back in the days, it was just so much purer and much better. It's just not.
Yeah.
Because at some point, it's going to be like, what's Donkey Kong?
Yeah, right.
And people need to understand there's a fine line between trying to rip the latest PlayStation 5 or Xbox One game or whatever and play that for free versus playing a game that came out 30 years ago from a company that no longer exists. I mean, there's, obvious piracy is, trying to steal from games that are brand new, out of the box, still being actively sold and, developed for, versus trying to preserve and enjoy games that not available in any other means, method, store, or anything like that. And the companies don't even exist that even created the games, for crying out loud. So, I mean, you're literally, again, restricted to certain avenues because of that. But some people, again, with that instant gratification type of thing, say, hey, I just want to kind of cut the line and not pay for it. Well, I mean, it's been around for the dawn of time. You used to be able to slip the cable guy that $20 and he would hook some weird thing to the back of your TV, and then magically you got HBO,
Well,
that scramble channel that Glenn wanted.
And this is the thing. This is the thing I
Glenn
remember.
watches with those goggles.
When we brought the show up, this was something that we talked about. that the consoles are going this direction, going all digital. And once the servers are down, I mean, you saw the reports that we talked about a couple weeks ago that people are
PS3s.
furious about the Vita and the Sony PlayStation, that if they lose it, if it crashes or whatever, their games are gone. That they
I
bought.
warned you.
You didn't warn people.
Old
good
man
enough.
Glen yells at the cloud.
I told you, you can't trust them online DLC stuff. You can't trust them.
That dirty water in his bottle there.
Yeah, but he's right, and that's one of the reasons why I hope when Sony looks at their sales of the PlayStation 5 versus the digital version and the Xbox Series X and the digital version, they see that the physical copies are still selling. Why wouldn't you want to milk that as long as you possibly can if people want physical copies? You're making more money.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
I think it's got to do with lazy. People they're getting lazy. They rather just download it on the server and just that's it.
Yeah.
Call it a day. But you're
Yeah,
better off
It goes
getting
back
that.
to that instant gratification. People say, hey, you know, my time is more valuable than your work.
No, that's true.
And that's another thing that pisses me off. Is the guys like Wolfanoz said earlier, the guys that work so hard, because it took you how many months for you to do your image, Wolfanoz?
I did a 1 terabyte recently for SSD for the Pi, and that took literally, and I'm not exaggerating, took me about 10 months. That was just before COVID hit. So
All
that,
right,
that
and
came
somebody will take your image and go and sell it to other people when you're literally giving it away as a gift for free. That's the sad part.
Like I told these guys, I encourage everybody, if you see it, because it's going to destroy the community.
Yeah.
If you see people selling this, report it, because no matter who it is, you know, eBay, Etsy, just report it to them and let them know they're selling copywritten stuff. You know.
Oh, Glenn.
Yeah, you got to get that off eBay right now. You got to. Yeah, he just said he's gonna. Yeah, they're gonna report me. Okay, come on, guys! You had me off camera a second ago.
He's selling that copy of Warlords right there.
Yep.
But he's right. But he's right though. I mean, that like when I was really big in the broadcast, I still do because I do broadcasting stuff.
Yeah.
And me and a buddy of mine, we used to do a broadcasting show live, and we would do all these diagrams. We would put all together like how to build your brand and how to do all this stuff. And we put it out in a PDF for free. Then a couple weeks later, we saw some of these guys that were wannabe broadcasters all of a sudden starting up these live streaming courses using our material that they're charging people $150 per class to use our material to teach them. And we stopped we stopped giving it out. We stopped putting it out there, and we just kind of left it. I mean, to the point where they didn't even do any legwork to rewrite it. They literally took our PDF and put it in there. I mean, that's how lazy these people were. Like
We put in our builds, literally, I do anyway, and some others do. If this is being sold, get your money back.
I agree.
It's not to be sold. So
it's but so it doesn't surprise me that people would do this. I mean, we see it in the groups on Facebook all the time. People are like, "Oh, I went on Etsy. This guy's selling it for $30. Should I do it? Because I don't know how to set up, coin ops or whatever." We're like,
please,
no, don't do it.
yeah, you can
Here's
do it yourself.
Here's the link to show you how to do it yourself. All you have to do is provide a USB stick. Please don't support that. Yeah.
Nothing you can do. I mean, people just don't. I don't know. They just don't listen. Mike says, I'm moving on from asking for ROMs. Does anybody have any hard drugs? Oh my goodness. I guess I should have read that before I
was
posted
about to say,
that.
how much is left in that bottle, Glenn?
No, I'm saying if anyone wants to support me, I'm out. I'm in dire straits right now. I need some more.
Somebody said, Mike says, Mike Hawk Burns. Oh, jeez. Who needs Doug when Wolfanoz provides such beautiful images and ROMs?
Oh, he's got Flan as a picture, too.
Yep.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, Wolfanoz, you have to answer. What's your favorite pinball?
Favorite pinball?
Table.
Like real or virtual?
Either or both. Just answer both.
I
Make it easy.
I own Terminator 2 and Demolition Man. I have both. So.
Well, okay. So
Schwarzenegger and you got a Stallone.
All right. So what's your favorite? Toy Shock, Arcade 1-Up, or ATGames? Go.
I mean, I build my own, so.
Oh, that's not the
But
question. That wasn't the question.
Okay. Yeah. If I had to, if Glenn put a gun to my head, it'd probably be ATGames.
Okay. Now everybody's going to run out and buy the ATGames one because.
Glenn
So
holding
just for
a
the
gun
pinball
is
alone.
just a comical image.
All right, I got to get it now. That again, I got to get my gun.
Oh, here he goes.
I
$20
shouldn't have
says
said
it's
that.
Nerf.
Yeah.
$20
Yeah.
says he comes back with Nerf.
It'll be a Star Wars gun.
Hell,
Oh,
no.
is that?
Uh-oh.
From the real stuff.
Even better.
What is this?
Even better.
Oh,
okay,
you got
now
the
I see it.
zapper.
Yeah.
Yes, I still have my gray one too.
Nice.
I'd be happy to go out with a zapper.
I tried dating it. It didn't really do much.
Are you Captain N, the Game Master now?
And if you haven't seen that show, that was a very good show.
That was a
The
good
first
show.
season. Second season got stupid, but when they put the Game Boy in there.
The only
But
thing
before that,
is-
when you had Kid Icarus, you had
Simon
King
Belmont.
Hippo,
Simon
Simon
Belmont.
Belmont,
Mega
and
Man.
the Princess.
Belmont.
Come on,
Mother
you're talking
Brain.
about the Princess.
The only thing is, they made Simon Belmont this giant wuss. Like
Yeah.
Simon Belmont
Prince
would have
Adam from
kicked
Pretty boy.
Simon Belmont's like fearless, and they made him like what's the guy on Disney that's after Belle from Beauty and the Beast? Gaston. They
that could be.
made
He
him
was
like
Prince
that.
Adam.
Oh, yeah,
Prince
like a
Adam
Prince
from
Adam.
Narnia.
Yes. I'm just like, what?
It happens.
Oh well. They made him vain. That's what they're saying. Yeah, in the chat room.
I could picture him being Bane, though. I could picture that. I could see that.
Simon Belmont.
Yeah, I can see him
Nah.
being Bane. I mean, it's like me.
Vampire
I'm
Killer?
Bane.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
Well,
maybe.
Glenn's a
I don't
vampire,
know.
so.
All right, here's a comment here.
Mhm.
It says a Fiero. I guess that's a Fiero Valentine. I was one of those guys, guilty and bought one. But you guys are doing everything you can to let us know we are community to share. So I guess he's referring to the Legends pinball. I think that's what he's referring to.
Or probably coin ops
Or coin ops,
whatever.
Yeah, coin ops probably.
But even still, guys, like we're not telling you what to do with this. As far as we just kind of want to educate a little bit or talk about it from a guy that does this all the time, and he's helping the community and to hear from him why he's doing it. He's not doing it just to say, hey, you guys get some free games. It's about preservation. It's what Glenn has been talking about since we started the show about preservation. And I have to say, I joke about and say, oh well, it's Doug's fault that I buy stuff all the time. Usually the toys are his fault. But it's Glenn's fault that I've been going around buying all these consoles because of that preservation
thing.
thing.
Like 50 consoles for like $13, so it doesn't really count, man.
Listen,
You get these great deals.
it doesn't matter
What the fuck?
how I got them or how much I paid for them. The fact is I got them complete in box.
No, of course not.
And not only did I get one mint condition N64 box, but I have two.
Of course.
I'm trying to keep up with Glenn.
Brand new?
Give me your N64 in the box.
What's that?
Brand new?
Brand new.
It looks like pristine.
Pristine.
Really?
The only thing it's
Nice.
missing is the shrink wrap.
No.
Like
Jelly.
it has even
go
it has
to
all the
bag,
manuals,
that's
and I didn't pay a
enough.
dime for it. It has all the manuals all sealed. My brother gave it to me.
I got an Atari 7800 like that.
Oh,
Nice.
don't tell Glenn that. He'll be running over to your house.
Yeah.
I got
I found
my
it.
7800.
I found it at a garage sale. He's like, oh, my kids love the Nintendo. They never touched this thing. I go, what is it? He goes, it's an Atari. I go, what kind? He shows me. It's a 7800, and it's still got all the stuff on the inside, still has the plastic on it. So, that
Okay.
was like, okay, I'll take it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Deal.
Fiero is referring
You gotta
to.
Check the bottom of that. If it's an early
Bought a
unit,
preloaded image.
it'll have an
yeah.
expansion connector on there. They took away an
It does.
expansion connector for the keyboard. No, come on.
It does have it.
No!
Yeah.
No!
Sorry, man.
Love it.
Now you're gonna make him cry. Look at, he's gonna fall down. Hey, so you were right. It was about the image. Fiero says, he bought a preloaded image, and that's what we're talking about. Like your guys are just, and I understand. He says he didn't know any better. He didn't know any better, and that's fine. I mean, you can't blame somebody for that. They didn't, they didn't know.
Quite honestly, if you have with my images, if you have any questions, there's a Discord I have.
What is the
there's a lot of
Discord?
people there. I don't have a link up front, but I can give it to you after if you want to post it in the video after. So
Yeah, why don't you do that if you don't mind? Because I'm sure
Okay.
the guys would like to put it in there, and I'm sure these guys, if you have an invite, or if you're on my Discord channel, you can throw it in there too. Or
Okay.
guys, if you're in my Discord and you're in also Wolf's, put it in my Discord for people that watch it. Because I know Sean, Shotgun Sean is in here. I'm sure he's in. Dylan J. Dylan J's in my so Dylan, if you've got the link to it, put it in the Discord so people can join it.
But it's like I told everybody though, if you buy it, you shouldn't. I mean, you shouldn't have to. It says right in my image, if you bought this, basically get your money back because you can do it. You can do it yourself.
Yeah.
There's no reason to. So, and not only that, it's illegal doing it anyway. So.
Oh, somebody ratted Cool Toy out.
I would say if anyone's in my Discord, you might as well go out. I haven't been there in 2 years.
Doug
go to there.
See, Doug hasn't even invited me yet. He's got a new Discord, and he's never told me.
Soldier Boy took
I don't
over.
promote. Never
never tells me he's got a Discord. Never invites me to the server. I see how it is.
All the cool kids were doing it. No, I was just looking for a way to like.
Microsoft's about to own them, so it's going to change.
There you go.
Oh,
yeah. Bill Gates is.
I'm hoping
now that
not.
he's got me microchipped with my vaccination. He's aware of
Well,
my Discord and he's going to control it from.
I really
cloud.
hope. I hope it doesn't happen because I saw what they did to Skype.
Yep.
And they destroyed Skype. Like, you guys have no idea. We used to use it and rely on it for doing live shows before the great software we use now. But, oh my goodness, they killed Skype for capture cards, for audio devices, for getting higher quality audio. You used to be able to go into the HTML and change things for bitrate.
A lot of big companies do that. Look at Linksys. Linksys made the best routers. Cisco bought them, and then went, done.
I agree.
Garbage.
Yeah.
But if a big company wants to buy me, I'll take the risk.
So
Glen is for sale.
A tool in the chat room here. I'm going to pull up this
Doug
thing.
and I are complete opposites. We're polar opposites.
I can't post the link in the chat room, but Dylan J that's in the chat room, he can get you a link to the Discord. He probably has a link to Cool Toys because Cool Toy never gave it to me because I'm not cool enough apparently. And Wolf's, I don't have Wolf's either. So
I'll give it to you.
You guys will have to put it in there. We can join those and.
I'll give it to Captain Paper Bag Bottle over there.
Yeah. Well, he'll keep it for himself. He won't. He won't tell us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're saying Cool Toy and his conspiracy theories.
Trust me, it's not my conspiracy theories. It is my the surroundings I live in the Midwest. That is what I hear when I go to Walmart just trying to buy a freaking action figure.
Well, I know that was something Doug and I were talking about off camera earlier today. That like I went to 2 Walmarts today and there was no action figures.
Not including me. Once again,
you were in the chat. Well, you were in the conversation. You just chose
you
not
were in
to.
the conversation. We were talking about toys and how they needed to be taken out of the package, and that's why you just tuned us out.
I turned off.
You totally. I was gonna say we sat there. You were in the conversation. You just chose not to speak. So, but we were talking about how Walmart, like at least 2 of them I went to, one in Ohio, one in PA, have like 0 action figures. And I said to Doug, except for Masters of the Universe. It was like funny. It was like looking for toilet paper. Is that what yours has too?
Yeah, that's it. That and maybe like a few of the new the new old Ghostbusters figures.
Yeah, ours had like 1 or 2 of those. But like you walk down, it was like when the toilet paper the crunch went, right?
Yeah, I mean, it literally looks like they're resetting the aisles. I mean, it's just like 8-foot sections of empty pegs. Like, I'm tempted every time I go in there to like leave a paper note or something that's like on the backboard that just says, "Where are the toys?"
It's your fault.
It's my fault.
Yes. Jeez. I'm trying to help the economy, so I'll take my Presidential Medal of Freedom anytime.
When you showed off that Star Wars Arcade 1-up, I almost jumped through the roof.
Yeah.
So I was so happy because I just sold my original cab, and then you showed that off, and I was like, "Oh, I got to buy it." You know. So
I need it.
See, he causes people to spend money. I've been saying that since day one.
Welcome, American economy. You're welcome.
So basically, Doug should be in the Congress right now. You don't need stimulus checks. You don't need Doug in there to figure out how to spend the money you have.
Doug don't need to be in Congress. Doug can't bite his tongue. He would get held in contempt really quickly.
Yeah. Well, guys, we're gonna have to wrap this up.
Quick question, Doug.
Yeah. What's up?
Since you can't buy the big Optimus Prime, are you gonna buy the small one that transforms?
Who said I didn't buy the big one?
Tell the wife.
Do you notice? Wait. Do you notice? Do you notice he's sitting there in a darker room? The lights are. He got the light fixed from last week. Long story.
I didn't fix the light. I bought Optimus Prime. I can't pay my bills.
Well, I was gonna say the light's a little dimmer. Maybe he's camping out in his room now because his wife finds out that
a flashlight and a jug of antifreeze. That's the ambiance I got going back there because I don't have any, electricity money.
his wife is going to go through the roof when she sees. Well, it is cool. I'm not gonna lie.
She saw it. She thought it was amazing. I mean, she doesn't care what I do with my money because we have separate accounts. But I mean, I'll try
That's a
not to
beautiful
tell her
thing.
how much it is.
Until he does the video, people put it in the chat room.
700.
You spent $700 on this thing.
Don't ever tell them you bought a real pinball game. They'll really jump through the roof.
Oh,
I mean, she's also all actually supporting that. That's oddly enough through this whole time I've been doing video games, toys. She didn't care about anything, but she's oddly become addicted to pinball, and we play it
Oh,
pretty
wow.
much religiously on a daily
Nice.
basis. And she loves the tinkering I've been doing on them. She doesn't like the fact that she has to push more than one switch to
Yeah.
get things to come on. But I was like,
Pointing my
I would
lower
really
lip
love that Stern Stranger Things pinball machine, but it's $7,000. And she's like, well, if you save, I was like, whoa, I'm sorry, what? If I
Yeah.
save, I'm like, which means there's a door open. The foot is not being slammed in the door.
he
She's
jammed the
saying
toy shock in
potentially-
there to hold it open.
Yeah.
to hold
I
that
want that
door
new
open.
Avengers machine too, but I balk at the price every time I look at it. So
Yep.
All right, well, we're going to wrap this up. Angel, I didn't play your video today because I had to hurry up and get this up because I was having some issues. So tell everybody about your wonderful room there that you're going to be, I think you're back in action, right? Making more marquees.
Yeah, I'm making more marquees. I'm gonna be making a square version. I'm trying
the
to find
man.
I'm trying to find a spot to put my Mortal Kombat and my MVX. I got no space. It's sitting in the middle of the garage, so I got to do something with that. And other than that, that's
I got
it.
5 of his marquees, man. They're awesome.
Thank you, Wolfanoz. I appreciate you.
Yeah, brother.
He's the man
you
with
do,
the
man.
marquees.
Yeah, I'm actually working on a little surprise for everybody today, so hopefully you guys will get that this week.
Sweet. How's Buck Hunter coming along?
Buck Hunter actually, somebody did a test for me, and they said that the because what they did was they took an arcade one-up marquee, had me do a Buck Hunter image for it. They cleaned it up, put my image on it, put it on the Buck Hunter, and they said there was nothing wrong. The only thing is, the brighter the room, the harder the games. The darker the room, the better the game plays.
Oh,
So
cool.
it's a weird theory.
Cool. Well, we'll be looking forward to the marquee coming up. So, guys, make sure you hit them up on Facebook if you're interested in getting a marquee, which we highly recommend. Angel always puts a lot of effort into it, and they're seamless to install, honestly. So,
Thank you so much.
make sure you guys check them out. Also, this gentleman, since I don't know, I'm left out of the loop all the time, but you guys check him out. Wolfanoz, you can check him on YouTube and Discord, and where else can they check you out?
T-Public, I got a store
T-Public?
there for sure.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Anybody, basically the big two are YouTube and Discord for now, but
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. And also, this man right here might be the last time you see him now that we know he's getting that Optimus Prime. But
I mean,
take a
it's
good look.
not due to arrive for a long time, so I've got some.
Oh, but the
I've got
credit
some
card bills
time.
come.
It was
And
cheap,
all-
I promise.
And all she has to do is open it, just accidentally opens it because she doesn't know what it is and sees that you bought Optimus Prime for $700 and plus shipping.
Transforms on its own.
I got free shipping, mind you. Free shipping.
Okay, well, for that,
Spend
they better.
$700 by God, you better get free shipping.
I was going to say, yeah. But guys, check it out, youtube.com/cooltoy. And apparently he now has a Discord, so
or I don't.
he's
Or don't.
not going to promote
you
it.
don't know.
I'm telling Dylan James, Dylan J ratted on you, so it's too late now.
That's fine.
So, I'm sorry, guys. We also have this guy. Is he playing Pong right now?
Yep.
Warlords.
Warlords.
Or Warlords? He's playing
Doug
Warlords.
spent $700 on a Transformer.
Oh my goodness. You guys are snitches.
YouTube.
Snitches get stitches.
YouTube.com/gplanamento. I'm sure he's going to have a video up of his installation of his new toy there that he has that he made. It's really awesome to see that, Glenn. I've been watching it as Glenn's been sharing with us, and we have a private chat seeing some of this stuff, and it's amazing to see where that came from. It looks awesome, Glenn.
And also, I have a Discord. 2 years, haven't touched it. But I'll send you the link. You can come look at it. I don't know.
Maybe you all can
Soldier
get him.
Boy runs it now.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe you all can get Glenn back into using Discord again. So we can have a lot of fun. Guys, I appreciate it. I'm really sorry that we had that slight dropout, but we were able to get everybody back up really quick.
Kathleen Kennedy did it.
I think so. But judging by how everything went as smooth as it did with the tech problems I had before the show, I'm thrilled that we were able to put on a show and be able to get it out. And guys, really appreciate everybody tuning in. Again, we'll have links, hopefully, for the Discords in our YouTube, unless Doug is stingy and doesn't give us the link. But you guys, we've got a bunch of guys here in the chat room that are in, I know, my Discord, so they can provide you the link. But it's also in the description of some of my other videos that I've done on the YouTube channel. I just haven't been motivated enough yet to do any more recorded YouTube videos. Maybe I'll try one this week. I've just been like playing Fortnite.
Play one of your many games behind you and record it, man.
I know I should. I've just been playing Fortnite. It sucks you in, man. It's like,
I know.
oh.
I have a 14-year-old.
Friends don't
I
let
know.
friends play Fortnite.
No, it's different when you have kids, honestly.
I know. I believe you.
My kids love playing it. My daughter wanted to switch just to play it, so it's something I can do with them, and even my wife likes playing it. So
Minecraft became Fortnite. That's basically what
I won't
made.
play that. I do draw the line. I won't play Minecraft. I've drawn the
Yes.
line.
I gotta say,
I can't do
Yes.
that.
when my son's crack, he's got both Minecraft and Fortnite. That's all there is. All this means nothing to him. It's Minecraft and Fortnite.
He
Yeah.
won't play games with the old man anymore.
Nope.
Nope.
No, actually, I don't think he ever did. I'm thinking back. I don't think he ever did.
It's funny, our game nights now, because a lot of the friends that come over have Switches, they bring their Switches, and we all sit in the same room, and you hear echoes because we're all playing Fortnite with all this stuff here. That's
Ouch.
the funny part. Like,
Ouch.
it's turned from everybody played
Oh.
pinball and all the different arcades to, all right, you go in that room so we don't get an echo, close the door, you go upstairs, and we're going to play Fortnite. We're going to roll 2 teams, and we're going to go. That's what it's turned into. Yeah, so if you guys want to watch that, I've been doing that solely on Twitch and Haps. Haps.tv is a new streaming platform that we've been streaming on, and I'm going to kind of show that real quick. It is free. If you want to go to multiple platforms, and there you're going to see a repeat of me in a second here, but you can go to multiple platforms. There's a chat there. There is ways to go to all the different platforms, YouTube. So if you're getting into streaming gameplay and you want a way to do it, now, the only thing is, it goes 720 to those other platforms. So you hardcore gamers that want 60 frames, 1080, it's not going to do that. But it's a start, and it's free. So just putting it out there. Haps.tv. I have no affiliation. I just think it's pretty cool. So, guys, we'll see you next week. Have a good one. Keep it buzzing.